Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, a very warm welcome from the Bahrain Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Today, you're joining us in this 8th e-Majlis session dedicated to the technology sector. I will be with you today. My name is Aisha. I'm a member of the media team of the Chamber. With me here today is the Deputy Head of the Technology Committee, Mr. Rashid Al-Isnan, and also our guest speaker, Mr. Fayrouz. He is a operations manager, a country operations manager at TCS Bahrain. Also joining us virtually is the head of the Technology Committee, Dr. Osama Al-Baharna. Today in this Majlis, we will mainly deliberate about business survival and transformation through technology. We will also highlight developing and growing online businesses and the benefits of cloud services. If you wish to raise a question, you can leave it to the end, write it in the chat box, or raise a hand, and we will address it at the end. You can also follow us on our YouTube channel or via Zoom application. Now, without further ado, I will leave the floor to Dr. Osama Al-Baharna. Dr. Osama, are you with us?
Yes. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you for joining us today on this e-Majlis. And to start with, I would like to thank, of course, the Bahrain Chamber and our chairman of the Bahrain Chamber, Mr. Samir Nas, for activating this Majlis sessions, which were live in person, but now in 2020, they are through the Zoom platform. And of course, I want to thank as well our board members who have been supporting us in the technology committee, and especially Mrs. Sonia Janahi, the chairman of the steering group for the different committees. And I have a small presentation today, which will introduce the subject, followed by a small presentation by our guest, Mr. Fayrouz, who will talk about digital transformation and particularly the issue of cloud services. And then our deputy chairman, Mr. Rashid Al-Isnan, will discuss some of the locally available products from Bahrain companies regarding cloud computing. Right? Please allow me to share my screen. 1 minute. Okay. Of course, the topic today is about business survival and transformation through technology. There are a lot of topics that we could have discussed, but we picked this because it seemed to be the buzzword these days, basically transformation. And when we discuss a transformation, there are multiple issues. So we are focusing today only on online business and cloud services. And the idea of this e-Majlis that everybody who join us today would be able to share their ideas, share their problems regarding the technology sector, particularly related to the setting up of online businesses and using cloud services. So to begin with, I would like to start by introducing what we do at the technology sector, only for a few minutes, only 3-4 slides. Basically, the Technology Sector Committee has 2 clients. The first client is the ICT service providers in Bahrain, or service companies. All the ICT companies in Bahrain are our clients in the committee. And our second clients are the SME companies, because the SME companies are the consumers of the ICT services that we in the technology companies would like to provide the SME companies. So I invite again all the ICT service providers, the ICT companies in Bahrain and the SME companies to communicate with us, to write to us in the technology committee about whatever comes to their mind regarding how to improve the technology sector. Okay, so, and again, please use the chamber facility to request one-on-one meeting with technology committee members. Please visit the website to see who are the technology members and how you can communicate with us. And we are always ready to communicate and share ideas. Okay. So our vision in the technology committee is to become a leading voice of the technology business community and influential partner in technology-related economic decision-making. And our mission is to create a thriving ICT sector through development of the digital economy, building consensus between ICT companies and enabling collaboration between ICT companies, and also advocate ICT policy. Okay. Now in the committee, we have brainstormed and we came up 3 years ago with 8 strategic goals. All our activities are within these 8 strategic goals. Our first goal is to support the Chamber of Commerce in its ICT transformation project, and we have worked with them on at least 2 or 3 projects. Second is to become a visible voice of the ICT sector and represent the ICT sector in the economy and with the regulatory authorities. Third is to support the transformation to digital economy with focus on SMEs and startups. Fourth, to encourage e-commerce and geographic expansion. Fifth, to discourage support for unfair ICT sector competition. Sixth, to direct education, training, and skill set development towards actual needs of the ICT sector. Seventh, to create a knowledge database of ICT sector members, sector-related information, and technology-related economic indicators. And eighth is to policy advocacy through update and enhancement of legislation and regulation. All these goals, all our actions throughout the years are related to these 8 goals. Every year, we select a bunch of actions that are part of these priorities. So in 2021, we have 38 activities that we have selected. 12 of them is related to priority B, which is become a visible voice of the ICT sector. Some of them are related to the supporting digital transformation and so forth. 6 of them are in the education and training sector. So we have a lot of activities in 2021. Please communicate with us. We'll certainly email you about our activities and hope that you will all be able to participate with us. Now, we go to our topic today, or I will start with the topic today, which is business survival and transformation through technology. The committee did a basic survey in 2019 to review digital transformation and technology implementation in Bahrain companies, focusing on ICT companies. So we had 2 objectives. The first is, what are the barriers to technology transformation by SMEs? Why they are not adapting various technology transformations? The second topic of this survey was SME expansion outside Bahrain, either through branches or through e-commerce. Of course, this survey is not a fully scientific survey. However, it gives indication and helps us in the committee to direct our future actions and to enact a full comprehensive survey of ICT in Bahrain. Now, the result of this survey shows the following. If we look at the top 5 current use technologies, I may say at the beginning that we had 91 companies respond to our survey, 42% of them classify themselves as being ICT companies. So out of those respondents, 75% had a website. I was shocked that there are almost 25% who don't have a website. 41% employ an ERP solution. 28% implement a CRM. I was also surprised because if 42% of the companies are ICT companies, I would expect almost 90, a full big chunk of them to implement the CRM. And then there's mobile application and document management. So adoption of technology is an iffy situation here. These results are quite surprising to me. Regarding the top 5 technologies that will be deployed within the next 12 months of the survey. By the way, this survey was done in the end of 2019, right? So between that time and now, we have the COVID period. Out of the companies, there are 40% that will implement mobile application, very encouraging. About 30% will implement a new website, and about 20% will have workflow automation, and about 20% will implement a CRM. So here we have gauged how the companies are doing in deploying new technologies, and I think there's a lot of work to be done. What are the 5 challenges? The companies ranked the challenges that the biggest challenge to deploy a new technology is the budget and finance. Second, integration issues and current manual processes that they're worried about. They have a problem validation of investment and return of investment, so they don't see the return on investment in implementing new technology. This is a very surprising issue. There are skeptics among management, so management doesn't want to jump into a new IT, and there are limited resources for implementation and post-deployment maintenance, which is something I well understand. Okay? Another issue regarding technology utilization is whether they have IT services running on the cloud. So 56% have IT services running on the cloud, which is very good. Only 38% don't have. And do you have dedicated IT staff to manage and maintain your IT infrastructure? 50% said yes. And I assume since almost 50% are IT companies, most IT companies have IT managers, right? Now, about moving on to the e-commerce and geographic expansion, they were asked whether they given the choice of geographic expansion between having a physical branch outside Bahrain and deploying an e-commerce portal, would they prefer the physical or the portal? And 51% prefer a physical branch if possible. Now, when asked if they have a physical branch outside Bahrain, 25% of the companies have a branch outside Bahrain, 64% don't have. And if they are providing e-commerce services, 20% are providing e-commerce services and 76% are not providing e-commerce services. Another question is, do you now conduct business outside Bahrain but without a branch and without e-commerce portal? Yes, 44% of the respondents do business outside Bahrain, either by telephone or by email. They buy basically they sell outside of Bahrain without a portal and without physical presence. Do you have any plans to expand your business to other GCC countries? 63%, they have plans. And do you have a plan to expand your business to non-GCC countries? 41% have plans. So many of Bahraini companies are really interested to go outside Bahrain. Do you have a written strategy to perform your expansion? Almost 50% have a written strategy, which is very, very encouraging. That means they did some kind of feasibility study. And would you consider having both a physical branch and an e-commerce portal? And 71% would like to have that. And do you think you are ready to expand outside Bahrain? 65% say that they are ready to expand outside Bahrain. 5 reasons that they want to use e-commerce to expand outside Bahrain is that increase in revenue from new markets because market size of Bahrain limited, reduce business risk through diversification, build up brand name, increase purchase to improve negotiation power, and competitive advantage over competition. 5 very strong reasons to expand outside Bahrain, especially the limited market size and low demand for services in Bahrain and slow economic growth. These are the reasons that they've been generated by the survey. I think we have one more slide. What are the challenges for expansion? First, financial management and capital. See, these are the challenges to find the resources. Uncertainty about the future, remote management and monitoring of performance. If they open a branch outside Bahrain, how to monitor and how to remote manage, and regulation and compliance in other countries, especially the different commercial law, the different regulation regarding technical specifications and other things. Still in the Gulf, they are not uniform. And finally, finding the right partner and building a relationship with local suppliers. These are the challenges that the survey have found. I thought maybe to discuss with you or to show you these results will help the discussion forward in terms of our topic today of digital transformation. With that, I hand over to Mr. Rashid Al-Snan to introduce our guest speaker and then to listen to our guest speaker. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Doctor. It's very, very interesting. Let me first go back to Aisha.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Osama, for sharing such valuable information. Let me highlight that we have with us today also the chairperson of the steering group of the chamber, and she's also the board member, Ms. Sonia Janahi, and with us also Deputy Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Abdullah Badr Al-Sadr. Also, let me remind you that you can also follow this webinar or e-majlis on our YouTube channel, the official YouTube channel of the chamber. And I will leave the floor to you, Mr. Fayrouz.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah. So before I just start, I would like to thank the chairman of the board, Mr. Nas, Mr. Dr. Osama, and Mr. Rashid to you for inviting me here. And while the Dr. Osama was giving the detail about what is the current situation on the Bahrain, that's also eye-opener for me to have that inputs, because I haven't seen that inputs from the market perspective from the long time. Though I am here from the last 5 to 6 years in the Bahrain, having my global experience working in the Europe, the Africa, so I have seen the couple of markets and they have extensively worked into multiple sectors, including telecom, banking, insurance, and the others. When I asked the Dr. Rashid, Dr. Osama and Mr. Rashid asked me about this majlis, then I just prepared my views regarding the more global perspectives. And then I thought, okay, let me correlate these ideas, what happening into a global with what we are doing into a Bahrain. Because in the Bahrain, we are doing quite very good cases we are working on that I will cover it up into an end, like LMRA, the BDP, the NBP, and the cloud first policies. This is definitely a very good game changer if we really adopt. Why we are saying that really to adopt? Because we all know the technologies always exist, but the adoption is the key to your survival. Once you correlate that technologies with your business solutions, and then once you then it automatically come up with your survival. It gives you a competitive advantage. Your financials go well, your revenues go well. So that's a key, and that is not only happening into a Middle East or the Bahrain market. It's everywhere in the globally. as we are speaking, I just want to highlight the one point and then we will go into presentations. The adoption of the cloud, the globally, even in the America, is till 2020, it's just a 30%. 70% is yet to go on the public or private cloud. So you can think about the opportunity we are talking about. It's the opportunity of the decade. The next entire decade, all the opportunities are there. And the Bahrain has taken up the AWS, the cloud first policies with the aim to enable the digital and the cloud economies. That's the founding principles to build your future. And that can give us the advantage when we go global, have the local experience, and once we go global. Yeah, if you can have this. So with this, yeah, next slide, please. So with this, I will just start some thoughts about what we call as a business 4.0. This is something we started with this. We all know that the industry revolutions happened from the industry 1.0, from the steam age to your computer age, and now we are in the digital age from 2010 onwards, we are calling it. So constantly within the TCS, our company, the Tata Consultancy Services, this evolved. And from last 7 to 8 years, we are working on this constantly in these principles. And recently, before the pandemic, we did the survey as well. I would like to highlight that key pointers out of that survey outcome with the 1,200 plus global senior executives. And then we will look into a key cases, what happening around us. So if you look at this slide, then we have the 4 pillars, the key pillars, we call it technological pillars. That is any organizations in the globally or the regionally, or any ICT company in the globally or the regionally, they are looking into these pillars. So one is your cloud for sure, because it gives you agility, it helps you, it reduces your cost, it gives you a power of the scales. And there is n number of the advantages, the always on. You don't have to wait for your infrastructures to get on board and then plan your application developments and on. So it gives you a tremendous flexibility once you adopt this pillar. So that's definitely a one key founding block to have your digital transformations. Second pillars we called is automations. Now, when we talk about the automations, everyone is talking, it's a buzzword. So, but if you look at the automations, how much automations you have done within your organizations, starting from front-end channels, your digital channels, from your customer and the sales cycles, the marketing cycle side, how much you have done from your financial side, from your supply chain side, from your the back-end processes side. So once you correlate all the things and once you adopt the maximum automations, then overall your turnaround times decrease. And that ultimately gives you a competitive edge to roll out your time to market, roll out your product and services very quickly into a market. And that's where your survivals, it's not become your survival, but you take advantage of this disruptions age or the digital age. That's where the second pillar is highly important from perspective of. The third pillar we call that is intelligence. How you make your data, because data is a new oil, so everyone knows that. But how you use that data to take up your decisions more real time. How you take it up your decisions, how you use that data, how you how you build your analytics on top of that. So if you look at your foundation layer is of course the cloud, which gives you endless compute. Then your application sides, you have the complete automations. And then on top, you have the intelligence to make your decisions more faster, more real time, more quicker, and more competitive. And on top of that, the fourth pillar we call the agile. Now, what is the agile? Nowadays, if you look at most of the companies, recently I heard the one life science companies have started the partnerships with, and they are entering onto a farming side of the business. So that kind of the agilities are expected nowadays to generate the new stream of the revenues. As we are speaking, recently in today's newspaper, I heard about the Saudi Aramco having a partnership for the Google Cloud. Okay, so that's agilities. Now, if you look at the Saudi Aramco is an oil and gas company. Now they are entering into a technology business. So that's agility is expected. The cross-industry partnership is what is expected nowadays. If you look at if you observe the telcos, the way they are coming up, it's completely taking a lead because they have a lot of data within their organizations and they are coming up with the new and innovative products into a market. So within the organizations, you require the agilities while developing the program and the portfolios while having the competitions. So once you adopt all the 4 pillars, then we believe that you can have not just survival, but you can have the competitive edge, and it can become your decade in the business. Along with that, there are the 4 business behaviors, which for considering the time, I would not go into much into a detail, but just to tell, along with that, we call the 4 key business behavior, like the mass customizations or mass personalizations, how you can do the product and services to a maximum reach to a people, and how you can expand your market. This is what is expected. Embrace the risk. This is what I was looking when the Dr. Osama was saying the challenges. One of the challenges, yes, the financials and that all the things. I think this will remain always. But when you are talking about the agility and the dimensions is quickly changing, now it is the need of the time. In fact, this trend is well adopted into a mature market as well, like Europe, America, to embrace the risk, calculative risk, and not to have the rigidness in terms of your financials. And that is also very highly important. And if you look at the ecosystems, the leverage the ecosystems around us, have the maximum partnerships ecosystems. The telcos don't have to limit themselves with the telecoms. Like if you look at the open banking regulations are coming up. After the open banking, banks are expected to have the partnership with the SMBs, the telcos, everywhere. So the leveraging the extensions of the ecosystem is highly important. So if you take up the molds of these 4 pillars of the technologies, the 4 business behaviors, then we think, and this is the well globally accepted framework, then you will have the competitive edge, and not just only the competitive, it will be your survival, it will be your decade during this digital era. Can we go next? Yeah, I can use it, right? Sorry. Yeah. So mostly I have already explained, but one point just I want to highlight that how the technologies are coming into these 4 pillars. Because we all know that the blockchain is the one, RPA is the one technology, artificial intelligence, the cloud, and IoT. So ultimately, these technologies play into your role. Ultimately, either they automate you, or either they make you intelligence, or either it can be help you into agilities and that all the aspect. So when we recently did the survey globally with the 1,200 plus senior executives, and Longitude was assigned to do this task. And if you look at the adoptions globally, including the Middle East organizations, the key tier 1 organizations, the adoption of the technology is not the same, but most of the companies have heavily adopted the cloud. So either they have started their journey to a cloud, or they are in mid of the journey, and very few, I think, in the complete range, in the completion stage. But out of that, the globally or regionally, the organizations, 74% of organizations have adopted the cloud. The 63% have adopted the IoT to generate the more and more data to make your passive elements to a more predictive and have your intelligence on top of that. The 61% of the people have adopted the AI and blockchain-based solutions and the RPA-based solutions. If you look at on the 3 side of the other pillars, the Agile, the machine-first delivery models, and data and analytics. So these are if you combine this all together, then this is the coming as a futures of the technologies which will not which will make your organizations, your processes, automate the processes, make your organization intelligence, and it will help in your business survivals ultimately. So quickly I will go, and then so this is the one more inputs from automation perspectives. As of now, as we speak, the most of organizations have done the automation in the space of the IT and the supply chain. But many of organizations had to start in the 2021. They are expected to invest more automation scenarios into supply chain, the financials, the customer, and the services. So these are the inputs I think that might be relevant to ICT players and the SMEs as well. The intelligence sides, yes, some verticals are doing very good into AI, the banking, the financials, and the travel and the transportation sides. And other verticals are definitely, they are following it up. And the data is definitely going to play key roles. And there is a lot of space till now, data analytics side as well. If you look at that, the telecoms, the insurance, bankings, they are doing excellent, good jobs. In the Bahrain, if you look at the BDB, they recently announced that they are going for the digital transformations, and we are the selected partner with them. So all the principles, if you look at, they are going to adopt over that. So as a part of the end outcome, the entire lending process, we are going to make it digital. So there won't be any zero-touch lending process. We call it zero-touch lending processes, from the discovery to the applications of the loans, the SME loans or the other loans, and then the approval, the verifications, the collections, the entire lending process, we will digitize entire lending process. So that's the kind of the automation or the digital transformations is happening into our regions as well. And of course, the cloud, as I said, it's a founding layer, and this is your founding block for your digital transformations. And globally and regionally, everyone has adopted, at least they have started. And in the Bahrain, I think the Bahrain has adopted 2-3 years back, very early, I believe, the cloud first policies. The AWS is there in the regions. So we must take the advantage, and whatever the skills we generate out of this, I think we need to go global. Just to touch upon, recently we did the one migrations with the LMRA, the Labor Market Regulatory Authority, the expert management systems. It was very challenging and very unique in the terms of the compute side. It was the mainframe-based systems, and then we migrated to a cloud, the AWS. So it was a very challenging. So, and if you look at that, the initially, since it was very mission critical applications, and the usability was very high. Such a scenarios that directly migrating from mainframe to a cloud was not available. The reference was not available globally as well. And we took a charge and we did the complete projects. Now the entire things has gone live. The performance has drastically increased. The infrastructure deployment times has reduced. The total cost of ownership has been reduced as well. So this kind of the scenarios, throughout, we can repeat it up. And especially, I believe, for the SME organizations, this is highly important because you don't have to invest too much into your capital fund when you are in the initial phase of the business, or you are the very mid organizations. Then you can easily take the cloud advantages. Yes, Peter. So this is the last of the principles, the agility perspectives. As I said, this is the highly important. One key outcome which came up, if you mix the agility with the automations, then this is what the expected combinations for any business is, and it will have the superior financials and the operational results. So in nutshells, we need to have the two engines, the one, the grow and the scale. Other side, we need to have the optimize and the transform to have your future ready enterprises. So this is what the message in the end I want to give it up. And I just, these are some quotes from the global organizations. Already I spoke about the key transformations happening in the regions. The STC in the Saudi Arabia, they are doing great jobs. and they are now revamping entire their ecosystem, the systems, and we are also awarded for the multi-year transformation program. We are also working on the digital farming, the agri-tech farming side. This is completely from the farming, the market, from the sky analytics to earth analytics side. The TCS ION is something, the e-education, digital education side. We are also working very heavily over that. I will just leave it here. This is I think the other part of the business 4.0 is the 4 business behaviors, which we can discuss sometimes later, definitely. Yeah, thank you very much.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Fairouz, for sharing your perspective on digital transformation and how it gives us a competitive edge, sharing successful examples from Bahrain and the region. And now I will leave it to Mr. Rashid Al Isnan to share his presentation.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to maybe share our thoughts with regard to the post-pandemic, basically. So in here, I'm just maybe kind of complement what is the committee chairman, Dr. Osama, and my colleague Fairouz from Tata Consulting Services. And I will maybe share with you some of the services that have been provided on the cloud. So let me share with just a few slides in here with you. And to start with, I'm just maybe gonna discuss with you 3 services. A technology company, an ICT company, we have been provided to our clients. So there are 3 services. And here we are sharing with you these 3 services. We've been working on this, of course, long time before the pandemic came. So and we've been supporting clients all over Bahrain on this, whether it's government, corporates, or and many SMEs that have been suffered from the COVID-19, and we have been working with them to keep them surviving, basically. So the 3 products here, we are talking about the cloud PBX and the cloud attendance and the learning management system. Start with the cloud PBX, and the good story to tell here, those who have physical or on-prem PBXs, they were not able to use them when they were working from home. Luckily, those who have used cloud-based PBXs, they were able to connect directly to the cloud through any internet connection, and were able to receive calls and were able to generate calls as if they are in the office. So we introduced this a long time ago. However, for the enterprises, it became very apparent that they need this kind of solution in the COVID-19 era. So in here, we are talking about that beauty is that, of course, you are able to make calls, but more important, you can receive calls. And so the calls will follow you at any place, whether you are at home or even if you are back in the office. So the calls will be with you. So nobody would even notice that you are not working from office. So that's the one service that we have introduced, and we have many clients on this. Of course, you will be receiving it through your mobile phone. So we have a mobile dialer, or on your PC, as we show in the picture, or even if you have a physical home, you just plug it into your internet at home and off you go. Same. So on top of we have been able to make you work from home, of course, which means that you're not out of business. And so we have been part of protecting you from the virus. So we're lucky to be a part of that. Thank you. Now, the other solution we have is the cloud attendance. So this has been supplied, of course, in 2019. And now during the COVID, we have implemented the mobile version. So you can report on duty even from your home. So this is basically what I just wrote this in here. Which is that allowing you to report on duty from different places, not only from your office. Finally, I think I just try to make this as a short, but there are many cloud services, but the major one that has affected us and we have introduced during the COVID is the cloud-based learning system. So we introduced this in 2019. Luckily, we have now a number of schools using that. A school management system that will allow students, teachers, parents to communicate and keep on learning, basically. And keep on learning. So whether school or university or institute, and the system is allowing the admin staff to communicate with the teachers and to upload their courses, their books, their presentation, their exams. Of course, the students is the main user of this system, and they would be able to go into the learning portal, attend their exams, and look at library books. Of course, also we will not forget the parents, and the parents will be able to also check the progress of the student, of course, pay their fees and whatever. So that basically has been a success, especially during this pandemic, and we were able to make this as a success during this year. So with this, and I think I can maybe, I mean, this is just a list of some of the clients and some popular names that we have, being government and corporates, and some of the customers that we had during this. Well, thank you very much, and I will hand you now to Aisha. She will be taking any questions.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Rashid. Absolutely a very interesting presentation. Let me reiterate on things that you have mentioned. You mentioned solutions, technology solutions, and how it's enabled us to move on with our life almost as normal as we did before, except at distance. Now, this was probably a luxury in the past, but a necessity now. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And now, for how long would we keep these technologies? I mean, would we really abandon our old lifestyle and stick to this technology, which has helped us a lot?
You take that? I can. Of course, I can reiterate on that. But definitely, I mean, we have been now through this, and we've been saying that transformation needs to happen, and that was much long before the pandemic came. But the pandemic made it necessary for us to adopt this transformation.
And probably expedited.
So exactly, accelerated this process, and now definitely this will continue with us. Now, so the saving that we saw and the benefit that we saw from this transformation is so apparent that I don't think anybody will say, "Okay, thank you very much, and now I'll go back to my old life."
Way, yeah.
So this will definitely continue with us.
Yeah. So let me just put a picture here. So if you look at that, on the 1980s times, that we had the old technologies like mainframes and the COBOL and the application and that all. And it took almost 20 years until the www, which called during the 2000s and around. And almost 20, 30 years we remain with that technologies. Now, if you look at from the .NET bubble that we called, and from that till the 2010, that was okay. And we had the computer age technologies and that. So it was near about the 10 years. Yes. Now, if you look at this third age, the digital age, and it's constantly changing. The technologies are constantly changing. The adoptions mechanisms are constantly changing within the industries, and it's happening globally as well, regionally as well. But 4-5 things are going to remain. And as Mr. Rashid said, that's very true. The pandemic has accelerated the adoptions. Yes, the technologies are always there, yes, but adopting a technologies is something else. And because the before the pandemic, I'm talking about the February and the January, some of our presentations we were making the people fly here. Yes. And now the customer says that no, you don't have to fly. Let's use Microsoft Teams and have the virtual session. Yes. That's it. So now this gives a tremendous advantage. Your cost drastically reduced. You can go easily the global. You can take up your solutions. Everything's the global. You don't have to remain yourself to one market. Right. You can go and target the entire market wherever is possible.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, that's it. That's a very
Let me make a comment here.
Yes, please.
If I look at Mr. Fairuz's presentation, and thank you for your presentation, he discussed the 4 pillars of transformation that will give you competitive edge: the cloud, automation, intelligence, and agility. Now, he also highlighted that only 40% of companies have transformed to the cloud. Now, that is very interesting. It means there's a lot of work to be done.
Absolutely.
And when I look at the survey that the chamber did, and I see response of the participants saying that they still cannot recognize the return on investment to do the digital transformation. I am really puzzled by the SMEs and the ICT companies who consider that the return on investment is not there or very limited, and they are not able to allocate a budget for that. Because, as I keep telling SMEs, you don't have to do everything immediately. You have to do it slowly and in a reasonable and within your budget. So allocating a big budget is not necessarily a very important issue, but the important issue is to begin. And right. I want to highlight that the products that Mr. Rashid highlighted, which are made in Bahrain product, these are cloud-based product. For companies, SMEs to adopt such cloud-based product, it is no longer a capex expense. It is no longer an upfront expense that they have to pay a big amount of money to consider return of investment. It's mainly an operational, and they pay mainly monthly fees. So it has now become more the companies, SMEs are more able to adopt these technologies. And I want to highlight in this case that the committee in 2021 will hold a special event dedicated to made in Bahrain ICT products, to be able to compile a list of made in Bahrain ICT products and services, whether they're cloud-based, blockchain, IoT-based, and to have a program to market them within Bahrain and also later outside of Bahrain. So if you are an ICT company listening to us, either looking at the YouTube or joining us here today on Zoom, please write to us, and we will certainly communicate with you later to survey what the products are available from Bahrain companies such as Etisalat. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Osama, and for the very awesome announcement that you have just made about the event that you're going to hold for made in Bahrain ICT solutions and products. Definitely, we are very proud of Bahraini companies taking such initiatives and pioneering this field. Maybe, yes, we have Mr. Ghafar. He's raising a hand. Please, Mr. Ghafar.
Okay, thank you, Aisha, صح?
Yes.
Thank you, Aisha. First of all, I want to thank three of you presenters for wonderful presentation. But I need to say, first of all, I want to say thank God for technology. If not of technology, I wouldn't have been sitting in my house listening to the behaving myself and listening to the government instruction and getting my food and everything I need through technology. I don't even have to leave the house. So without this technology, I would have been in big trouble, especially at this time, difficult time that we are passing through. What I want to mention, I want to start by mentioning something to my friend, Mr. Fayrouz. Mr. Fayrouz, your presentation is wonderful for experts, experts who will understand your language. I think if we have some SMEs among us here, I think they need some more of layman language to understand what they really need to do. I want to go back to my friend Osama and say, you talked about support digital transformation of SMEs, and we need to do something about it. I don't think the problem is the budget. And I don't think the biggest problem is the SMEs are our young people who are just beginners, and they need a push. They need to understand the mechanism of how they really need to go along doing things to survive. This is something that I have mentioned it in many sessions at your Chamber of Commerce, that it's not being done yet. We give them a lot of theories, but we do not really go down to earth and explain to them step by step how they really need to survive. Please, Anna, I know you are all experts and you know a lot. Those poor small SMEs, they don't know anything. You have to expect them, they don't know anything. I mean, maybe some of them are cleverer than others, but we need them all. They are a big chunk of our society and they need to push our economy forward. In order for them to understand and survive, our economy will survive. So please, Anna, I know that my friend Osama is working hard on this, but we really need more attention to bring them close to you and let them understand how they need to do things step by step and in a very layman language way, not in a very sophisticated language, because they will not get it. Sorry, but this is only my thought of how I look at things. Thank you.
Thank you. If I may answer this very quickly, I agree with you. A lot of our SMEs need support and help. They know they need to transform. They don't really know what to do. And we have expertise in the committee and in the ICT sector that can really help them. But we want the chamber to put the two heads together, the heads of the ICT companies and the heads of the SME companies. And we have made a proposal to the board and it was approved for adoption in 2021. Well, we will have a program. It's called Technology Connector Program to connect SMEs with ICT companies to have joint programs that will allow us to explain to the SMEs and remove certain doubts on the SMEs, what they should adapt, how they should adapt it, how fast they can adapt it. So hopefully, inshallah, we will have some budget in 2021 through the chamber to implement such a program. And if we can get a few companies, to start, then that will kick in with the rest of the companies. And by the way, I'm not too much worried about the young SMEs. A lot of them know technology and they don't need a big push. But I'm worried about the older SMEs that have got used to a certain way of doing things. And these companies need to change, and they need to recognize need to change. Of course, when I say that, I don't mean that everybody should have an e-commerce activity or website. It may not be suitable to everybody, but everybody needs to look at e-business in general and look how they interact with their customers, look at how they interact with their employees, look at how they interact with their vendors, and implement e-business tools to improve this interaction. And this is where we need to push our SMEs to do, inshallah. Thank you.
Right, Dr. Osama, if you allow me, I would like to highlight something to everyone here, and reiterating on what Mr. Dhafar has just said. I would like to remind you all that we have, the Chamber has launched an initiative where our members may contact directly the heads of each committee for a consultation meeting, and they can do it virtually. So there is a one-on-one consultation going on, available to all members of the Chamber, and they may contact the heads or members of each committee. So people in the ICT, they may very much contact Dr. Osama to have a meeting directly with him for consultation or taking advice and so on.
Yes, this is a very great initiative by the Chamber board and management. And unfortunately, I don't see it being adopted or used by our SMEs. And this is a free facility available where they can just pick up the phone or pick up Zoom and discuss with us and with the other verticals, the other committees, the industrial committee and the market committee and so forth. It's a wonderful tool, but maybe the Chamber should do more marketing for this tool rather than just the emails. I've seen the emails myself. Maybe the other SME owners of companies have not seen the emails. I think the Chamber should work a little bit more on the marketing of this, but it's a wonderful tool, a wonderful opportunity.
Yes. Do we have more questions or?
Are you receiving the questions in the chat?
That's right.
I think Dhafar, he wanted to say something.
Yes, there is one person. His name is Yasser.
So, Yasser?
Yes.
Yasser, would you like to say something, please?
Yes, just I'd like to highlight about the latest event which happened in USA and the attack. So about moving to cloud, the biggest concern that's facing everybody today is the cyber security issue. So whatever solution that will be provided by companies, it has to address the cyber security and how confident people they could trust such system. So just this is as a highlight because it's not being touched during your discussion. Thank you.
I can answer that. Yes, definitely cybersecurity is very important. And we have held several webinars on cybersecurity during 2020. However, cybersecurity should not be an obstacle to adopting a new technology. It has never been in the past, especially for SMEs, okay? Now, the attackers for cyber, they look for the bigger fish, okay? They look for the bigger market. They look for the bigger transactions. And they're looking for data, information about data, information about banking. And when you're moving to e-business, it is not necessarily that you will have such high risk and high and secure information available online. So when you implement a transformation or you implement a project, you have to classify your data, whether it's a critical and secure data or whether it's a reasonable public sharing type of data. And you move from there to implement your project. But if you're going to stop implementing a back-end logistics system, for example, online, or you're going to stop implementing a vendor portal, or you're going to stop implementing a client portal where your clients can see their transactions and they see how much you owe them or you they owe you, you'll be stuck behind. Okay, and we see a lot in the news about security and cybersecurity, but the number of companies affected in terms of number of companies is still small. Okay, and the rest of the companies are working very hard and adopting new technology, and we in Bahrain should not stop just because there's an issue of cybersecurity. But definitely it should be considered by ICT companies when they're trying to help the SME companies in Bahrain.
There's no other question?
No.
Just ask them if there is any.
I believe there are no more questions. So with this much, ladies and gentlemen, we wrap up today's event. I would like to thank you all. Mr. Dhafar Al-Amran on the other side, Dr. Osama Al-Baharna, and everyone who participated in today's e-Majlis. With me here today, Mr. Rashid Al-Asnan and Mr. Fayrouz. Thank you so much, and thank you for enriching this event. And I hope to see you in future events as well. Yes.
I want to also conclude before you conclude, Aisha.
Yes, please.
I want to thank all the committee members who have supported the activity of the committee during the past several years, both the current members and the previous members. And definitely we look for your support in the 2021, and we look for the support of the ICT companies and the SMEs in 2021. And you know, we will not achieve anything by just talking. If we don't call each other and participate in the events of the BCCI, we will not be able to achieve anything. And you know, there will come a time where we have a lot of, now we have a lot of facilities from the chamber, different opportunities, and this is the right time to grab it and utilize it, and so that we have a competitive edge. Thank you very much for your participation today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Osama.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.